Today we're going to talk about a visualization experiment that says visualizing a skill without even doing the skill will make you better at it. The experiment goes something like this. Researchers got 3 groups of people at different skill levels in basketball: beginners, intermediate, and advanced players. They had each of them go to a gym and practice free throws for 30 minutes. Now, they got their baseline level of, free throw percentage shooting based on this. And then they had them they split them in 2 groups. Groups who spent 30 minutes practicing the actual task, doing it more, physically practicing it, and groups that spent time visualizing it. So literally just sitting there and pretending to shoot the free throws. And they found that there was little to no difference between the improvement in the beginner and intermediate groups for those who went to the court and who actually visualized it. So literally the person who was doing the thing didn't get any better faster than the person who was thinking about doing the thing. They both improved actually, but basically at the same rate, which is absolutely wild. For the advanced basketball players, they noticed that the improvements were actually negligible in both cases, right? Because they're pretty good in 30 hours of shooting free throws isn't going to make you better. So I believe this is the rough summary of the result here. So what are we taking away from this? Literally just visualizing doing the thing without even doing it makes you better. And that's kind of crazy. That's actually really interesting. The idea of thinking about this thing before you go to sleep and dreaming about it, to me, that's one of the things that I try to do to improve at something. It's just to have it on my mind when I go to sleep. So my diffuse sleep brain can kind of mess around with it. This is not science, evidence-based stuff. This is just something that I do. But there's a great quote, a quote that I absolutely love, that says, the most important turns in a ski slope, in a ski run, are the last 3 turns. Because those are the ones that you're going to be thinking about on the way back up the ski lift. And so this is actually really, really important, right? The recency bias of the thing that happens at the end of your practice regime. Let's say, you're trying to learn to ski, you're skiing, you're becoming a better skier, you get on your run, you have all these turns, a lot of things happen, but it's the recency bias, the things right at the end that are in your mind. And when you're on that ski lift, sitting there, going back up, you are reliving the thing. Hopefully you're thinking about this run that you just had. I mean, if you want to learn, if you want to have fun, do whatever you want, right? Talk to your friends, push them off the ski lift, et cetera, et cetera. Don't push anyone off the ski lift. That's a terrible idea. Not even a joke. Kind of a joke. So the things that you were thinking about on the way up the ski lift are the recent things that happened to you, those last 3 turns. So I do love this quote. The last 3 turns are the most important ones. And so based on that, extrapolating, again, this is stuff that I do. I'm not going to say that this is super, super research-based, but something that I like to do is, 1, make sure to end strong. End on something that you can actually remember, and that is end on something that is the behavior you intended, right? Because that's the one that kind of gets locked in and internalized the most, more than the others, right? So end strong. Visualize the thing that you are trying to get good at after you do it. And, what end? Those are really important and kind of, I would say, surprising insights. So another way of manifesting this is, actually, another way of manifesting it. I'm going to end right there. I think this visualization experiment is really cool. If you can figure out a way to incorporate it into your practice routine as a meta-learning technique, I think it can really help. And it's also just a little bit fun, because then you can be in the subway waiting or something. You're kind of when you're stuck or waiting in line or whatever, you can go back to a problem or think about something or solve something or visualize it to help you improve. Now, often this is physical things, but I think for mental things, this works relatively well too. But you have to be able to create that structure to do the practice. So, for example, for Super Smash Brothers Melee, which is a game that I play. It's the only video game I played this game, and it gets me I played it when I was a kid, so I'm really into it for some reason, and it gets me adrenaline going, gets me sweaty, puts me into flow. So it's a game I actually do play. Really the only video game I play, and it's a terrible habit, so whatever. But what I do sometimes is I visualize playing the game. And it's unlike chess where you can actually play a whole game, but I imagine, sometimes when I close my eyes, it's like the Tetris effect, we can talk about that later. I kind of imagine just 2 players moving on the screen and doing things. I imagine, my hands moving. I imagine the complexities of the dash, dancing, attacking, like, melee words, right? And this visualization, I think, does help me get better at the game. I also enjoy it, and sometimes I can't help it, but it is something that I like to do with things, which is, it's mostly a mental thing. I mean, I guess it's some physical too, but visualization for these things helps a lot, and the last 3 turns are the most important ones. Thanks for watching. Take care.